Hi, I'm Laird. My call sign is ve3lks, and I've been a licensed ham now for somewhere between 25 and 30 years. Lifelong member of the Northshore Amateur Radio Club, and I'm glad that we're able to have these sessions at Glenn's place and be able to do a little demonstration here. It's not a live demonstration, but this will show you the basics of what we call APRS, or the Automatic Packet Recording System. Basically, what this does is it takes the signal that it receives on a GPS, and I've got several different displays here. This is done with a mobile radio and a tiny track unit, which is that unit right there. Basically, the GPS is constantly receiving signals from satellites, so it can triangulate and figure out where it is in the world. It feeds that information into the tiny track device. The tiny track device is the brains of this whole system. It takes that signal and processes it. There's many different ways you can have your tiny track set up. I have mine set up so that if it varies, if my route of travel varies more than 15 degrees off my last coordinates, it will send a beacon. It'll take the GPS information, send a beacon out to my radio, and my radio will transmit that out into the 2-meter band. In North America, we use 144.390, I believe, or 930. It's a standard frequency for APRS, so that everyone across North America uses the same frequency. We'll then have amateur radio stations, again all across North America, that are set up to receive those signals. Some of them receive the signals and then just rebroadcast them over the air like a repeater would. Others, like my own personal station, takes a signal in and puts it on the internet, so that you can actually go to a website like APRS.fi, and you can see all the various stations that are tracking in your area or throughout the world. So again, this unit here is just it's a dual band radio I'm using. It doesn't have to be, it could just be a 2-meter radio and hooked up to the tiny track and out with the GPS. This unit right here is an all-in-one unit, and I'm not trying to give any one particular company any sort of advertising here, but it's also made by ve3lks, and this is a tiny track unit as well, but it's all built into one. There's actually a 10-watt radio in here. We have the GPS unit right here that attaches to this end, and then we have this end here. I put a little pigtail on it, and that would connect to my antenna. So basically, this is doing everything that all this is doing. The only downside to this is that it's low power. It's only 10 watts. Around Southern Ontario, that'd probably be fine. Like if you're in the Oshawa, Toronto, Golden Horseshoe area, that'd be fine. As you get out more into the country, further up north, or I found even in the States when I'm heading down to the in-laws, you get into places in Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, where the 10 watts just isn't enough. That's where I would use this radio here, because I can crank it up to 20-25 watts and have a lot better chance of being heard by another station. To show you that it doesn't even have to be all that complicated, many of us have old phones that we get rid of. This was my most recent phone, a Samsung, and when I upgraded, I just kept the phone. It's no good as a phone anymore because I've taken the SIM chip out, but I can install a program on there that will then, I can hook it up with just a audio cable to my little handheld Belfang radio, which you can buy for like 40 bucks. And basically this is the GPS and the processing unit, and it'll transmit out through this radio. I could have it hooked up to a mobile radio in the car as well if I wanted to. So there's not an awful lot of expense that you have to. As long as you already have a radio, it can be fairly inexpensive. During the break, we'll show what exactly this looks like online. It's really cool because as you see people tracking, you'll see ships, you'll see guys in airplanes, you'll see guys in cars moving around, you'll even see pedestrians. Some people have them where they have a unit like this, and they'll just be out running around and doing their daily jog or whatever, and it's tracking them as they go. And when we get into the presentation, you'll see that when you click on, they have little tracking dots, and you'll be able to tell how fast they were going, what direction they were going. and actually what altitude they're at. Now that's not based on the radio, that's based all on the map of the world basically, and it knows what your elevation is, but it also, the GPS helps determine your speed and everything else. So it's really quite a fun little thing to have. We use it a lot in events that the club has. If we put these in a vehicle with a guy with a radio, we can look on the internet and see where he is. So if we need someone to be at checkpoint A and we see the truck's over at feed point B, and he's the nearest guy, then we can send him. We don't have to go around and try to figure out where everybody is. We can just look on a screen and say, okay, he's over there, he's over there, he's over there, she's up there. Oh, she's the closest one, send her. So it's just another way to use amateur radio to to benefit events as well as in emergency situations. If say it was an earthquake zone, you had to send people in to help with emergency setup. Instead of having to clog up the airways with voice communications, you could basically tell where people are just by their digipeating. Any questions?
You mentioned using an old phone. Can you use your current acting phone?
You probably could, yeah. Yeah, because it's just the application that's on there. Yeah. Although with your current phone, you would need to be a licensed amateur radio operator, okay?
Yeah.
But you can do it right on using your data. You don't need to actually have a hookup to a radio, because your phone is as a GPS. Can figure out where it is, and there's a program called APRS Droid, and it basically uses your data and sends your signal out to tell you where in the world you are. So as long as you have data on your phone, you can use your phone as your whole GPS, as your whole APRS unit. I just bring this up as an option because a lot of people have old phones at home.
So old smartphones.
Yeah, they have to be a smartphone.
Okay.
Okay, but when you get a new one, what do you do with the old one, right?
Right.
Your 2-year plan is up, you might as well put it to good use.
Right.
Any other questions?
Does anybody else have that app, or just yourself?
About the APRS Droid?
Yeah.
Oh no, quite a few people have the app. A matter of fact, during when we do the on-screen demonstration, we should be able to find a few in the area.
Okay.
Because I know some of our local hams have it. When they're driving a company vehicle, for instance, they may not have their radios in there, so they load up APRS Droid, and you'll see it. It'll look like a little telephone symbol going down the road. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great, thanks.